Hey guys, what's up? My name is Mark.
Hey guys, what's up? My name is Mohammed.
And yo, watch it.
In the reaction. So guys, so we have something new. A Patreon requested video by Shivji Power.
Let's go!
Yo, the man came through. Yo.
He's our very first Patreon.
Yeah, man, he's the
subscriber.
First one.
Can we please give him a round of applause? Alright, but look. So for those of you guys who would like to, support us on our Patreon, just go to Google and then search it up, patreon.com/allinthereacts, and you get to see all the options we have for Patreon. So
on the description below.
Go to our YouTube channel, like he just said. Go to our YouTube channel on our description down below. It would just be right there, just for you guys. Just click on it. And the best thing about it is you guys get to get new options and stuff, new ideas and stuff. So you get to be able to allow us to react to any videos y'all want us to react to.
So guys, today the video. The video is going to be about the video is going to be from Vox about the Indian and Pakistan border. So guys, man, without further ado, man, let's get to the video requested by Shivji Power. Shout out to you, man. We love you and everything, bro. Let's go. Oh, that's beautiful.
This is the Golden Temple. People come here from all over the world to bathe in its waters, to look at the holy book that is inside of this middle Golden Temple, and to just experience the holiness of this place. This place is the epicenter of Sikhism. It sits right here in northern India, in a city called Amritsar. Close by, there's another important Sikh site called Kartarpur. It was established by the founder of Sikhism 500 years ago. It's the place where he spent the last years of his life, and it is the second holiest place in Sikhism. For centuries, Sikhs have been able to make pilgrimage between these two sites, to move freely throughout their heartland. But in 1947, a British lawyer drew a border here, turning what had been British India into two new countries, India and Pakistan.
You can only call it the most sort of bizarre lines which were ever drawn across a map.
It went right here, with the Golden Temple on one side and Kartarpur on the other. Thanks to this border, Sikhs in India are now cut off from their holy site. So many come here, to a platform that the Border Patrol set up. The platform looks across the border, where with the help of telescopes, Sikhs can look at their holy place, just 3 or 4 kilometers away.
Oh wow.
It's crazy though.
In addition to cutting off communities from their sacred sites, this border separated families, cut across rivers, forests, farms, railroad tracks. Today, this border is heavily fortified, with nearly all 3,000 plus kilometers fenced.
Damn.
It's lit so well that you can see it from space. And barely anything or anyone crosses over it.
When we talk about the drawing of the line, what was the most painful was the division of families which took place. And that is a very big reality.
This is the story of a violent separation, one of the most traumatic events of the 20th century. It's the story of how a hastily drawn line on a map separated one people into two.
This is a horror story. What we saw was a town soaked with the stench of death.
In the trail of murder and arson come the refugees. Their suffering is the new tragedy of India. Many will never reach their new land.
These are the things that are setting the hearts burning on either side of the line.
The sun is setting and I'm walking along one of the oldest roads in Asia, one that used to connect this region. But today, a border runs through it, and instead of connection and trade, What you see here is this. There's barbed wire, there's fences, there are officers everywhere, and yet there's also ice cream and popcorn and paraphernalia.
People gotta get their money in.
This feels like a sporting event. You can buy keychains of machine guns. Thousands of spectators file in, filling this stadium that looks down on the border. On the other side, Pakistanis are doing the same. Then, both sides start their different show.
It's a game.
2 hours of chanting and dancing. Then the finale, a face-off between the two sides.
That's great.
They strut back and forth in this coordinated choreography. And it all ends with the lowering of each flag and the closing of this gate. This bizarre border show plays out every evening.
Every evening.
But this ceremony, this fence, this intense nationalism, if you rewind just a little in time, none of this existed. The British controlled parts of India for nearly 200 years, but by 1947, a strong movement of independence was swelling across the subcontinent. While back in Britain, the country was in massive debt after fighting World War II and didn't have the resources to hold on to their colony. So, they started making plans to leave India. British officials thought that a proper transfer of power would probably take around 5 years. But when the British leader in charge arrived in early 1947, he hastily decided to shrink their exit timeline. And so what needed 5 years would now need to be done in just 4 months. British India was to be split into two independent nations, a mostly Muslim Pakistan, and a Hindu-majority but officially secular India. To do the actual drawing of the border, the British brought in a lawyer from London. He arrived the month before the British were supposed to leave India. He hadn't been to British India before and didn't know much about the region.
He had no idea about India, no idea about Indian geography, no idea about Indian politics.
And yet he was the one drawing the lines on the map that would affect millions of lives.
He didn't even know anything.
During his visit, this British lawyer looked at maps and census data, focusing on the maps that showed religious identity of people in India. India has a wide variety of religions, and based on these census maps, you can see that people of all religions lived amongst each other all over the region. So to draw the line, the British lawyer looked at individual districts, putting any district that had a Muslim majority population into the new country of Pakistan, while Hindu and Sikh majority districts would be kept within India. Based on this method, the lawyer began to see what a border might look like. He only had 5 weeks to do this. He later wrote that it would have taken years to settle on a proper boundary. And that's because this method of drawing the line conceals that within these districts, there were sizable communities of all religions that had been living side by side for centuries, all throughout India.
August 15th, 1947, Independence Day for India and Pakistan, but Gandhi is not present. Why the celebration?
The British lawyer left that day. He would never return to India again. 2 days after independence, the borders were made public, prompting more than 14 million people to leave their homes, their lives, for what was now their side of the border.
We were told that you have to cross the border, India.
नहीं एक गिलास भी नहीं लियांदा पानी पीने वास्ते को कोली नहीं चक्केगी सारा सामान में छोड़ा
Hindus and Sikhs from Pakistan moved into India, and many Muslims in India moved into the new Pakistan.
These were people who were indeed forced to lose their entire homes, their memories, their childhood, and the things they saw.
It was one of the largest forced migrations of people ever, and it was chaos. A chaos that led to widespread, unspeakable violence. Cities on fire, sexual violence against women, trains full of dead bodies. The survivors I talked to were just children when all of this happened.
ਸਾਨੂੰ ਐ ਲੱਗਾ ਵੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇੱਥੇ ਮਾਰ ਦੇਣਗੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਨਿਕਲਣਾ ਪੈਣਾ ਹੈ
ਲੈਣਾ ਹੀ ਲੱਗੀਆਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਸੀ ਖੂਨੋ ਖੂਨ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ
The division of the subcontinent became known as the Partition of India, a phrase synonymous with trauma, fueled by the reckless mismanagement of an imperial power.
I read about it in high school.
I'm in a small village right near the border on the Indian side that used to be a Muslim community before partition. And in the middle of town is this shrine where residents would conduct ornate Muslim burial practices on these graves. If you look at the original maps that the British drew up when they were trying to draw this line, this town was actually in Pakistan in most of the maps. But in the end, the British lawyer decided to draw the line here. The people here discovered that they were now a part of the new country of India, and so many of them fled just across the border to the new state of Pakistan, and they left this place empty. But just as Muslims were leaving this village for the new Pakistan, Hindus and Sikhs from Pakistan were coming across into India, and some ended up here.
उनको अपनी जो ज़मीन सी अपनी उनकी वो पाकिस्तान से इधर लौट हुई.
The Hindus and Sikhs that now live in this community have taken it upon themselves to continue the Muslim traditions that this community was based off of. They continue to maintain these graves and these symbols even though they don't necessarily pertain to their own religion.
बहुत अच्छी तरह से ध्यान रखती है. कमेटी भी बनी हुई है. दूसरा ना लोगों की हर कम्युनिटी की इसमें श्रद्धा है. श्रद्धा के तौर पर जितनी इसकी संभाल होती है ना कमी नहीं आती.
This is a sign of respect, of common identity in spite of the border. But this is just one side of the story.
The subcontinent echoes and shudders to the sounds of a full-scale, undeclared war.
Within just a few months of drawing this border, India and Pakistan were fighting an all-out war. One that centered on this region in the north, which both sides claimed as their own. The new countries would fight several more wars over the years. A border fence would eventually fortify the majority of this boundary, and both countries would acquire nuclear weapons, turning up the tensions and deepening the division. But if you take away the geopolitical bluster, the nukes, the barrier, the trauma of partition, you can still see how much these two countries have in common. I'm at a school in Delhi. Students are Skyping with a school in Pakistan.
अच्छा हिंदुस्तान जो है वो पार्टीशन से पहले ना हम और इंडियन साथ मिलकर रहते थे.
That's the only way to stop all the fighting. Teach the young kids.
I like how there's like no hate. They're not teaching hate towards the younger kids. It's teaching them love.
That's the best way.
These kids are speaking a similar language, and it takes them just minutes to dive into the common roots of their culture.
Teaching the kids.
This shared identity that these kids are feeling isn't uncommon in India or Pakistan.
Same language, same taste, same food. Whereas Hindus and Muslims and Sikhs used to live together, attend each other's social functions, marriages, everything. Why this divide now?
If you stand in the walled city in Amritsar and you stand in the walled city in Lahore, believe me, the smells, which is a kind of giveaway, are the same.
That's why we was confused, like when we was buying food. You know what I'm saying? It's like the same food, right? So it's Pakistani, it's Indian. You know what I'm saying?
I'm visiting a group of Sikhs coming off the train. They were able to get a visa to go visit this religious site that most have to see through a telescope.
ਦਾ ਜਾਨੀ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਡਾ ਚਾਅ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਨੋਬਲ ਪੂਰਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਪਿਆਰ ਵੀ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਉਸ ਕੰਟਰੀ ਦਾ ਉੱਥੇ ਹੀ ਆਪਣਾ ਕਲਚਰ ਵੇਖਿਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਡਾ ਸਿੱਖ ਰਾਜ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ
So with all these cultural similarities, all these happy faces, shared interests, how do you explain this?
You see, it is the politician who poisons people's minds.
हिंदुस्तान दुनिया में सॉफ्टवेयर एक्सपोर्ट करता है और आपके हुक्मरान टेररिस्टों को एक्सपोर्ट करते हैं.
The divide is created, nurtured, fostered because it suits a certain politics.
Over the years, politicians on both sides have exploited tension with the other side to stoke feelings of nationalism.
और हम उसको तेज करेंगे और पूरे विश्व में आपको अकेला रहने के लिए हम मजबूर करके रहेंगे.
दोनों देशों में नफरत का कारण है मेरे लीडर, चाहे वो पाकिस्तान के लीडर हो या हिंदुस्तान के लीडर हो, ये शांति नहीं चाहते.
Why though?
Money. Yeah, money and power, bro. If you keep them divided, you got more control.
Back here at this viewing platform, there's construction vehicles everywhere. For years, the Sikhs have lobbied for easier access to their holy site. And after years, the two governments finally agreed to build a little notch into this border. A corridor that will allow Sikhs to freely access their site without a visa. These 4 kilometers will restore a small part of what was once the Sikh heartland. But for millions of Indians and Pakistanis who continue to live with the repercussions of the traumatic events of 1947, this fortified and volatile border remains unchanged. If anything, it's getting thicker. 70 years later, the shadow of partition continues to divide families, halt trade, cut connections, stop cooperation, instill fear, promote hatred. And the people who live in its shadow, on both sides, old and young, continue to live with this division that's superimposed upon their history of deep connection. This episode of Borders focused on one story of partition, the story of the division of Punjab. We can only cover so much with Borders, and we have to choose a very narrow story and focus in on that. If you're interested in learning about other conflicts and borders that have to do with religion, you should check out a documentary series called Holy War. It's on a website called CuriosityStream, which is a repository of documentaries and nonfiction films. For $2.99 a month, you can get
Was he entertained? Yeah, so more. What do you think about the documentary?
Wow.
What do you like? What's your take on it?
I got more of an emotional. Wow. I wish I could have been able to know more.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know more. They really, like he said, they really touch up on a lot of stuff that that I honestly wanted to see more. I just wanted to see more just to understand what, like, this is more like a broad, the video was more broad and like the introduction and like beginning and stuff. You know what I mean? Like it just, I wanted more details as to like.
No, like I kind of, like what I get from it is that like, you know, like the guy, like the division from the British, like the whole thing is was caused by the British because like they had control over India for like 200 years, and when they were supposed to leave after the World War II or something, and they lost a lot of like funds, like, you know what I'm saying, they don't have enough money to control India anymore. So they'd be like, oh, we have to leave now. and by leaving, that means like they have to install like a government that can function well, but they crunch on time. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't have enough time, so they have to do it like fast pace
before they get out.
Yeah, and now they be like, okay, you know what? They found a solution. Be like, you know what? Let's just cut a line petition. I think I learned about it from high school. So they cut a line. They be like, oh, if you're a Muslim, you go on the other side, and if you're like an Indian or a Sikh, or no, I mean like a Hindu or a Sikh, you go on the other side.
Oh, so okay, basically
that's crazy though.
So basically,
when I think about it,
from what you said, basically you're saying it's basically the British had to get out.
Yeah, like they have to get out.
But like that's the thing. Like I wanted to find out why they had to just up and left like that. Did they go into civil war with the Indians as well, or you know what I mean?
They was fighting. Yeah, they would.
So they lost.
No, it's not really like it's not like a war between the British. It's like World War II.
Yeah.
When like Germany, US, all those other countries were fighting, and because I read like a lot of books about World War II, and the British lost a lot of money on it, and now after the war, they don't have enough money.
That's kind of that's messed up.
They don't have enough money to take to control.
Yeah.
They don't have enough money to control, so they have to let go.
That's some messed up.
That's why they just left.
It's all about politics and money.
And
you ruining people's lives over politics and money.
And they draw line. So like my question is, why don't you just let it go like that?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know.
So why the line though?
Why was the point of bringing somebody? I understand you said because of they was trying to get like a government going on, but what's the whole point of the line being there though?
Yeah, that's
just dividing the people. They both they all eat, sleep,
they salute together.
Same
so why would you divide it?
Then again, I don't really know too much information, so I'm not about to. But all I gotta say is, you peep how they said that they allowed some guy out of nowhere. They didn't know anything about them. They know about their culture. They know how it was. But then he had 5 weeks. 5 weeks to decide everybody's life.
So
that is some next level.
So he probably half-assed it.
He probably just because there's no way. You know how they said. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's no way he sat down and literally just did he had to at least that's some messed up. It's just pure messed up. He had to at least okay, you know what?
Yeah, he has no experience on the continent or in the country.
People, he didn't sit down talk to any of the people. He just said, I gotta come here and do this thing, get out. But then again, I said, I can't. I don't really know too much. That's why I said I wanted more details. And honestly, I'm probably just gonna do this myself. Just Google it and then try to find it out.
Yeah, so basically, the Indians and the Pakistan people are probably brothers that just get separated.
Yeah,
it's just you and your brother get separated because of some foreign foreign powers or foreign governments, and now as it goes, you started seeing more hatred because maybe say Pakistan do a bombing in India, and the people get more.
They get more hatred. They put politics to get people just mad.
And India do a retaliation, them to do retaliate. And now the Pakistan people have hatred. Be that's how it gets so strong that they want to kill themselves. You know what I'm saying? So I hope as time goes, both governments could come together and try to work together to make sure that it's peaceful out there.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I mean, like I said, you see how hopefully it just happened through our generations because you can already see throughout the movie, well, not the movie but the film, how they said how people are actually like video chatting across the borders, you know, getting the kids more accustomed to being together without being separated. And that's like making those kids having in their mind like, why are we still doing this? So they're hopefully the next generation can be able to take that into their own hands to
That's
be able
good.
to.
That's good. That's why I say if you want to build if you want to build a good future, you start with the kids. Like you have to make sure the little kids understand that, or you guys are brothers. You got to make them understand that you guys are brothers and sisters. You guys are the same people. So like when they grow up, they will not hate each other and stuff.
It does.
So that's I feel like it start from school. Yeah, it start from school. So yeah, the documentary is great.
They went a long way, man.
It's that's why like when we went for like when we went out for like food, like all the food like they look similar. It'd be like biryani from Pakistan, biryani from India, like same everything, same. All the foods are the same. You know what I'm saying? So I was over there. I was like, so wait, which one is which? Some guy told me, oh, biryani is from Pakistan. The other one is biryani from India. I'm thinking, where's the biryani? You know what I'm saying?
Man, at the end of the day, even though this is life, it's gonna be people always want to get power. People always want to control.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, man, you just gotta just understand, like children.
Yes.
That's what
yes. If you wanna be you have to talk like because so powerful. Like
we said, we only coming up with the video that
just on the video. Like we don't have
but it's an interesting
about it. Projects and stuff about it. A little bit. Like I need to, you know what I'm saying, because it's I want
what is really
political. Yeah, but like I want to know more.
What you could
in the comments.
Let us know what we gotta do. Thank you so much. Subscribe. Guys, we can't just get